Welcome to chapter number 2. Hope chapter 1 was okay for you and that you were able to digest that all right. Chapter 2 deals with successful marketing strategies, organizational marketing and organizational strategies. Essentially what this deals with is the idea of creating big picture plans. A strategy is a plan in big terms. It's sort of like we're going to go on vacation. That's the strategy. That's the big picture. We're going to go. Now, where, how long, time of year, those are the tactics that accomplish the strategy. So if we say, hey, we're going to take a vacation, we're going to enter this market, we're going to develop this new product to go after this new target market, and so on and so forth, that's the defining factor. Now, the people that tend to do strategies, and it could be for organizations, offering, industry, and so on, are the top level people. Industry structures, and this comes on top of or before an understanding of any strategies. An understanding of the environment that you're operating in is going to help you a great deal. So if we consider, the industry, the offerings, are we a for-profit or non-profit organization, and sustainable development in the sense, can we develop a sustainable advantage? That is a key thing. Now, some of the things that your book mentions that I don't spend very much time on, and that is this idea of social entrepreneurship and those types of things. I'm not saying that there's not good information there, but by and large, I'm not real concerned with it, overall as a part of the what you're going to learn, intro to marketing or introduction to marketing. But we can't be all things to all people. This is true. This is why a strategy focuses us in a direction. Now, the day-to-day activities to achieve that direction, that's the tactics again. But this is at the heart of it. It's wise decision making. It's to understand the environment that we work in order to develop plans to move to in that direction, because that's where we've determined, given an analysis, very broad analysis, and complex, a true strategy would be true business strategy, marketing strategy. This is where we think we can compete and win or serve the market given the competitive environment. Board of directors, corporate level strategy, business unit strategy. Remember, all textbooks take the view of big business, publicly traded types of organizations. The majority of people work for medium to small businesses that don't have business units, corporate level. They might have boards of directors, advisory boards, but if they're nonprofit and things like that. But by and large, you're dealing with the ownership group and or professional managers. Corporate level, strategic business unit. This would be an easy way to think about this is General Motors has Cadillac, Chevrolet, and Buick. They used to have Pontiac and Oldsmobile, but those business units are gone now. But each of those business units serve different target markets. So hence, there's different business level strategies or business unit strategies. This is just a little slice of org behavior. You got functional level, i.e., accounting department, human resources, departments within that, and then cross-functional teams where you borrow people from those various areas to accomplish goals and get things done on a day-to-day basis. Good organizations, well-run organizations, are going to be those that maximize the talent that they have. And that's really a whole nother study, quite honestly. Your book just kind of sticks its toe in the water to give you a little bit of an overview of that. But when you take org behavior, you'll see that, if you do anyway, in more detail. But org foundation, the why, the mission, and things like that, the organizational direction, and the strategies or tactics is the how. Mission statements, can be. I'm not saying they're always the most important thing, but they can be very helpful. What are we here for? That's what a mission statement does. So again, visionary organizations. Not all organizations necessarily are visionary. Some are in more static or non-dynamic markets, so they don't have to be as visionary. But when we say visionary, really what we're trying to do or trying to communicate is the idea that we're looking into the future, or we're keeping an eye on events around us so they don't, as best we can, because nobody can truly look into the future, as best we can anticipate some of the changes and prepare. So Netflix is one different. So goals or objectives: profit, sales, market share, quality, so on and so forth. Social responsibility is probably not at the strategic level. That is more of a public relations element, if anything, because it's very hard to truly define that social responsibility. That's a very new development, relatively speaking, in the business world. And not that they don't want to be responsible businesses, but the idea that this is a requirement that you have to give money to charity as an organization is, I think sort of suspect. I'm not saying it's not a good thing. I'm just saying as a requirement of business, it is more on the PR level. What kind of goals should we create? Well, this one you may have heard of, and this is a good one for us as individuals. SMART. SMART's a good thing. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-based. Attainable might be debatable because they are goals, but this is a good way to keep yourself grounded and the scope of what you're trying to do fairly straightforward. So we've talked about the business unit levels by product, by service. If you've got a very far-ranging business with lots of companies and things, you're going to need to take into account business units. Marketing dashboards are really, if you look on page 32, you'll see a good explanation of that. And remember, these sort of video lectures are not a substitute for actually reading the text. That's going to be an absolute requirement. But this is marketing metrics, or things that you use to measure the status of your organization. A dashboard, just like a dashboard on your car, it gives you a real-time, or it can at least, a real-time look at the health of your organization. A little snapshot of that. And that real-time data is sort of amazing in the power of what you can accomplish and get to. How's Ben & Jerry's doing? They just sell ice cream, though they think they're social reformers in a certain sense. It's just ice cream, though, man. Anyway, elements: typical marketing business plan, targeted at different audiences. Then we can see market plan, business plan. Now, in my own mind, I kind of see them as interchangeable. One would argue, though, that the business plan is slightly broader than the marketing plan. But I find in practice them to be very, very close together. Competitive advantage, this is what we are after. This is what you're after, aren't you? When you go and look for a job, you're trying to convince the human resource person or the hiring agent that you have advantages. Hiring you is an advantage over hiring somebody else. Same thing goes for an organization that's trying to sell you anything. Why do I want to choose you versus all my other choices? We're looking for sustainable competitive advantage. Who are competitors? It's kind of a competitive map of who's out to get you. Portfolio analysis. These are different ways to look at and to distill various business units and where they may be, kind of where they are in the scheme of things at present. So what we're trying to do with stars is use the cash cows to finance them, to get them into a cash cow status someday. But market share on the horizontal axis, market growth rate on the vertical. There you go. That's just an analytical tool. There's some Kodak has not fared well. So Boston Consulting Group is what BCG stands for. Diversification analysis. Market penetration. How much of the market do we own? Do we develop the marketplace and own it? The market development. Do we develop products? Do we branch out into other things? You know, where do we go? What do we do? How do we do it? And they just use Ben & Jerry's as an example. I don't think they're the greatest example, but that is just my own bias. There we go. So as we look at the book as it's laid out, this is how the chapters are structured, and this is what we'll study. So step 1, chapters 2 to 8 are about SWOT analyses, meaning strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, then product focus, and then program. And we will cover most all of these. So step 1, SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. What do we do well? Where are we weak? What are the opportunities? Given our strengths, what are the opportunities that lie before us? And threats. What are the threats to our opportunities? Where could we improve would be on our weaknesses. Now, this is an internal analysis. This is critical, and this is difficult. I would suggest you do it on yourself, and I think that can be a worthy exercise. Then show it to your husband or your wife, somebody that knows you well, and see if you're accurate. Trends, situation analysis, that's what it is. What's going on in the world that buys ice cream? And these are examples of how they did that. Build on strengths, correct weaknesses, exploit an opportunity, avoid threats. So it gives you clarity then in order to make judgments about the direction you should go given what your capabilities are. So it's like it is a self-analysis. Market segmentation. Here's where that market product focus. How is the market divided? Are there a lot of premium buyers? Where are the spots in that segmented market? Because not everybody buys the same car, not everybody buys the same house, the same watch, or the same dishwasher, or the same toothpaste. There are various segments for any given product. What we look at then as our strength is how are we different / better in a segment that we're selling to. There we go. They use Medtronic pacemakers as an example. Marketing program, we've got the product strategy, pricing, promotion. These are the 4 Ps that I mentioned in chapter 1. These are the things within those 4 Ps, or the activities or choices that need to be made given in a marketing manager's purview. Obtaining resources then, resources meaning money and people, which are really the same thing. Develop a plan. There's a typical breakdown of an organization. Big company now. Big company. And then I'll let you, I think that's probably enough, to look at. In the book, it gives some very good examples, I believe. I'm just looking at it right now to see if I'm missing anything. But the planning gap is, where actual revenues are versus the target. How are we going to bridge this gap right here and make our dreams come true? Okay, you will work on video case number 1, so keep that in mind and keep reading.